Oh, I love doing things more than once. Just give me a second here. I just did a video and then I realized I didn't set the right resolution on stuff, so I'm gonna have to kind of do this again. So what I wanted to do is I have packages of some of the special effects that you can use in various things, and then I modify them and muck with them until they fit what I want to do, right? And I found one of them here that I'm going to work with until I make it look like something that looks like a Stargate kind of gate opening. Now, it's not perfect, okay? But what we're talking about here is doing stuff free, okay? Because at one time this package was free on the Unreal Marketplace as one of these monthly gift things, and I grabbed it. So being smart and grabbing these things, you never know when you're going to come in handy for some of this stuff, right? This is what I'm saying, right? So the one I'm talking about is this one here. I'll go in and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now I turned the color white because when I remember when that gate opens, it's kind of that white. It's like foamed water, right? So that's what you want, right? And where do you change colors? Colors are done at the top here, weren't they? Where did I do the colors? Oh, colors were in here. That's right. That's right. And I wanted to show you, okay, this little section here. This is where you can change the times it happens, okay? Where in each of these has one of the little effects of something that's happening. You can set a delay in those, and that would make that effect, you know, start or stop at a certain time. But there's like a, this goes, it's like it goes this, then this, then this, then this, and this. And you see along the lines here, right? It's like a pattern go. And the whole thing you can then set into a delay here so that it doesn't go off. And in fact, if you go into the coding, you can go even more into this and set up something that would be like event driven. And you could probably create a blueprint that would do that for people too. But that would be some fun. There's probably a way of doing that too. I'm sure there is. Once you have something out there, you can just create an event for it. Um, yeah. So the idea is to take this back part, put the gate right in the middle, right? Okay. And that big splash out the front is the big one that you see at the front, and what comes out the back, I'm gonna, you see, there's a reason why I brought these into the back, right? Because this kind of comes out the back end, right? So I could have the explosion, then I would have this kind of in an animation where you would have it small, getting big, and then kind of, you know, going back to the gate itself, right? You could do that, which would be even more funky, right? If somebody was kind of looking at it, instead of looking at it straight on, you were looking at it on a bit of an angle, you could then see that little trail at the back, right? There were some other promising things I was thinking of maybe trying, which was this one here. These two are just basically the same thing, only different colors. Same with this one here. There's a few things that are different. There's some neat stuff in here. Like I say, I put everything into one little pack, one like little project here, just so I could mess around with things. I mean, I come in here, I open up the thing, and then it started wanting to do shaders, and I was looking at it going, what? I got flipping around there. I was going to put some foliage into something and start doing a little bit of a scene over in the distance there and make something. And as soon as I touched this little thing here, I went, boop, I need to do more shaders. And that was because I set up mega scans, which allows me to go get 4K scans for nothing, which is the big boy stuff, right? 8 and 4K stuff with cinematics. that would kill the living shit out of my PC. I can't even look at 8K images on this PC. They just don't want to load. I noticed that. It just, no, it don't want to work. So what I usually do is I go get the 2K directly from their site using the bridge program, and then every time they fucking do an update, I gotta go all mess around with this program to get it to work again, and it's I don't know how regular developers that are being paid handle dealing with this constant, you know. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Maybe they smoke too. Yeah. Anyway, who's in this pack? That's just base shit. Grenade stuff in here. I have no idea what this is. Monsters pack. What's this? Oh yeah, that's the one I bought there. See now, I'm going to be getting some animations. I decided to put a bit of money into one guy there over at the marketplace, and I'll get the animations for this next month, and then I will combine them up, and then I will have some really neat animated stuff to do and play around with. And see, this is where I say, if somebody else is doing the work that I don't need to do, then they're saving me money and time. A lot of people don't go, well, why don't you do this all yourself, right? Well, I'll tell you why. Because if I got to spend 6 months learning something in order to make something, that's 6 months I've just wasted, where somebody did something that not only passes, would, you know, is basically the same thing. Why recreate the wheel? Especially when nice people give out free stuff and you can damn well use it. The hostility is that, you know, if I did something really cool and fun, right? I'm with what I'm doing here right now. As long as if I took the Stargate out of there and made some kind of freebie thing, right? I can actually sell it if it's fun, you know. And here I am, I'm not, but still, if people get upset because other people have been abused by other people that do stuff like that, where they're not saying it up front. You see, that's the difference between me and someone else. I'm saying, hey, I'd like to do some stuff here. We got, and just to show you guys, okay, I'll go back into this thing, right? Give me a second here. Like, a lot of you guys don't realize how much character story you could do with this stuff, right? Come on, load. Leave it to Epic to take 16 years to do anything. Okay, so back down into the library. Yeah, let this just take forever. Good Lord. We want categories. We want categories. Okay. See, now here you got a generic NPC pack, right? You're going, well, what's that about? Okay. Let me just show you something here. And I'm going to show you this first. And this is what the animations are, right? Okay, I've got this pack, right? And they can do, this is just a basic little one. You got a bunch of different stuff. You could have people talking around a desk, and you know what? I got this little bubble thing. I could have little events popping off. He says something, then it waits a bit, and he says something, then he says, and then they, you know, have a little conversation where it's like a three-dimensional comic book, in a sense. And guess what? It's animated. Anyway, that's just an example right there, right? And here's a whole bunch of the different things that they got there, right? And this guy pointing at him, he's got his head down. Oh, I'm a bad guy. Anyway, so you go back to your library, and you're thinking, well, those guys are all those weird white mannequin type guys, right? Well, this is where you come down into this stuff, right? Okay, you got characters here, right? Now here's where it starts, okay? All these Paragon characters all the way down here, I am legally allowed to do anything I want with, even make and do things commercially with them. Okay? All these characters, all the way down to the bottom here. Now you're thinking, well, geez, isn't this neat, eh? So I like this little evil guy here, eh? I've been using him a little bit. Took me a while to learn to retarget this guy properly, okay? Alright? Right? He's got this one animation where this hammer falls down out of the sky, and then he just suddenly, he kind of raises up out of the ground and grabs a hold of it. It's just trippy. Right? I think I'll show you that animation, in fact. There we go. Let's get out of there. I think I brought him into this little bunch of pack of characters. Now I'll have to wait until, did I bring him in here? Yeah, I did. So, go over to here, go over to here. Alright. And just let this go. Alright. Now this one here, I'm going to right click on him. And we're going to sit here and we're going to wait until, and this is why I'm going to show you guys why this PC's old and slow. Okay, I'm going to sit here until this little pop-up menu pops up. There'll be a menu that pops up that will allow me to edit this now. See how everything seems to have frozen there? That's why I'm saying, right? 100% CPU use for the next few minutes while this decides it's going to do whatever. I don't even know if OBS is working right now. It probably could have crashed, froze, or something else too, right? Might have went to 0 frames a second, for all I know. But, you know, instead of being selfish and saving during this time when I've always had a little bit of spare money, right? So I've been slowly saving. Instead of doing that, I help a guy at the corner there who has a shop who's helped me in the past, right? So I go down and I do a big tab, and then I give him a big chunk of cash when he needed to pay rent at the end of the month, you see? Aha. Right? I was one of 2 people that did that. Made sure he kept the store. Now he's starting to have his business start to pick up again. And, you know, more people know they get takeout there. You know. So, yeah. Anyway. Yeah, we're waiting. I'll wait until this is done. You'll see what I mean. I'm just wondering if this is even working. Is it working? Yeah, it's working. Okay. Yeah, see, now I won't go back to that. We'll sit here and watch this just for a few minutes until that decides to. It usually takes about before the program lets me go back into it. You wouldn't believe how super cool I have my machine. Eventually it's gonna just melt. When enough capacitors are gone on that motherboard, that'll be it. On one day and get a soldering gun and make sure I don't, you know, things go too far. Anyway. Yeah, it won't even let me click on that now. Oh, yeah, well. Let me back into it. I just wanted to show you guys, I'm not bullshitting you about how potato-ish this PC is, right? So when I do things, I gotta gear up to be, you know, like I wanna be like, I don't know. It I got back, most of this kind of thing would be done. No mental waiting for this. Oh boy. Hold it down. Oh, here we go. Oh, it let me in. There we go. So we got 916 shaders to go. Now you can see how it'll count down, right? Should let me right click on it now. Yes. So I go into the edit. There we go. Maybe it won't work. Yep, I blowed it up. Oh. Now you just got to be patient. So one thing you learn with this game engine is patience. Kind of, sort of, maybe, no, yeah. I got one idea. Come on here. You can do it, baby. I have faith in you. Oh, here we go. There it is. Maybe something happened there. It's gonna be stupid on me, aren't you? There. So as it compiles, you'll slowly see this happen here. This is what all your YouTubing friends who do things go through, and you never get to see. Because they do this before they show you stuff. Because once it's compiled, it just goes. This is why I have more respect for some of these guys than some people, other people do, right? It's also why I make my own. I try to make as much of my own. If I'm going to do uh, uh, a video on something or whatever, and even if I was to do something, say for Diablo 3 or talk about Diablo 4 coming up, I would create little stuff like this and put my own things in here, and make like a demon or something like that I have maybe in one of these packs or something like that. That way, none of these assets has any right to this. In fact, YouTube has told me the stuff like this that I do would be stuff that I could put into the Content ID system, and if they abused it by trying to mess with copyright, I would be able to literally sue their pants off. Okay? So this is another reason why the more you get into these kinds of things and getting away from taking a still image or a couple of images of something else, right? Just get away from that, because these guys, these lawyers, it's their job. Okay, they make huge amounts of money from this shit. Okay, do you think they're going to give that up easy? Right? Do you have the lobby money to change the laws? Because you see, it's one thing to complain about something. What's your solution to it as well? The solution is to not allow these types of laws to happen in the first place. The solution is to pool up 100,000 YouTubers and say, let's all put $10 in here, and then go down to that U.S. Congress down there and lobby a bunch of candidates to start this change, real change, right? That's what you do, okay? That's how you do it. You don't, you know, Because sooner or later they just keep nailing away and changing the rules until eventually everything you do is just going to get you canoe, whatever, right? It's going to get you whacked. So that's my little advice on the top of things on top of that, right? Because things like Naughty Dog are just going to keep happening, right? They're going to get worse and worse. The latest thing now, and it happened about a month and a half, 2 months ago. It also happened when EA had that Battlefront 2. They started messing uh, with other games and other things, the like and dislike button. They would wait until they had lots of likes and then turn off the ability for you to dislike, right? So they show you a trailer. People were thinking, hey, this is a cool trailer. And they showed me that trailer, this one trailer of a game, 2 weeks before it was public, and I didn't even know that. So I liked it. I hit the like button, and then I went away, and then I saw. Then they came out with game footage that was just horrible, right? And you would like to change your like to dislike, and now you can't. You see how just. Ugh. But they pay YouTube for this ability, and I mean, we have a a kid in charge of what is it, mental health questions, who's not a medical professional. And then there was some guy complaining that his younger brother, who was like 7 years old or 8 years old, who has autism, was being bullied by some 9-year-old. You see what I mean? Anyway, let's zoom in here. This is just an example, right? Now I've done things. Oh, this stupid launcher, go away, go away. Thank you. God, I hate how when you mouse over something, it pops up above. I hate that. It gets right in the way of things. All right. See, now what I've done is I've messed with some of these where you see there's like a flow, right? Okay. Because if I'm going to do a recording, right, I need to be able to control when these things go. So I can stop this for a bit, right, and then make it go a little bit later, and it's like a delay. Um, Different things like that, and back to this. That's just the default guy for him, right? If you go back into here. I think it was in here. Skins. Yeah, here we are. So you got different looks for them, right? There's one called Kronos, apparently, right? So here's Kronos. Now we're going to sit here and wait for this again. Oh, I could grow old. I could grow real old with this. See, I designed this system so that when you have compiled these shaders, right, once, okay, that you could put them somewhere where it could be shared. Now they say they have something like that, but I looked at how to set it up, and it sounded so bloody complex that it kind of freaked me out from doing it. And I'm usually the one that would try anything once just to see how it works. I break things a lot. Trust me. It's the fixing part, then you learn, and that's how you learn things, in my opinion. Okay, so we go to the edit. Come on. I'm gonna wait until these shaders are all done then. Oh, bloody hell. Now imagine doing 300,000 of these. People wonder why I got wacky humor. You can blame Epic for that one. This is why they invented render farms for the big boys, where you would you just send it off to like some company and they would hook it up to 50 machines and they go, done. Here you go. $10,000, please. Thank you. All the Star Wars, you know, the CGI, all that shit. You know, that's what they do. They just go, all done. Have a nice day. Here you go. Here's your video. Oh, it didn't work. Well, okay, we'll do it again. How do you want this done? How do you want that done? Anyway, I thought I'd show you stuff like this because a lot of people. The next thing I'll do is there's a really good video a person did on how to retarget those little white guys that I have in this video. How to take the skins like this and put them on them. Now, you can kind of get, you know, you can get away with people not really noticing a few things. You can trim his 10 minutes literally down to 5. Now, I don't suggest that because going through his whole video, you'll learn quite a bit on how to do things. The bone work, though, is a bit more advanced, and a lot of people will be freaked on that. But, you know, this is how you do things. I wanted to know how to do this, and I looked up on YouTube. There it was. Somebody had done this. Somebody had done that. Somebody had done this. And I start talking to this guy. I start talking to that guy. I says, you know, that's a really cool thing you did on Blender. What if you did this, 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 and this? He goes, hey, I wouldn't mind seeing that. I says, well, you know, if I got around to it, I'd do it. But, you know, I'm all over the place doing things. You know, wormholes, different ways to do wormholes and things like that. You got ways to do that in Blender, and there are free meshes out there. You can give a guy a couple of bucks. He probably would do you a really top-notch one. You know, I mean, when you look at the long and the short of it, yeah, would you spend 6 months learning how to make a wormhole, or would you give a guy $10 or whatever, something like that? You know, that's my point, right? I'd give the guy $10 so I can do more shit, right? But I'd also ask him how he's making it, right? And they will usually help you out learning how to make it, and it's really neat. One of the guys, he's doing this thing where it's the wackiest thing I ever saw. Is Blender making you start the program up and you get like a robot, right? Start it up again, it's a different robot. He's made a procedural program in there that changes it. So all you got to do, and I've got copies of it, change it up, put different pieces in there, right? And it will fit everything up like that. And if you could get Mr. Mannequin's tools set done really well, you could then just shove that right into that and it would be rigged, and then you could create an animation with it, export it into the Unreal Engine, and then you got something done. Boom, 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 boom. See what I mean about workflows? Things are getting better, not worse. Okay, they're getting cheaper to make this stuff all the time because people are putting the effort in to do real cool stuff. Anyway, yeah, I was rolling a smoke. That got done. All right, let's just see here. Okay, we'll go into the edit mode here. See what he looks like. See, now this is a different one, right? Now, you're looking at this going, well, he's not moving around, right? Oh, well. Okay, so we click over on animation, right? Alright, there's the animation, right? Okay. That's the level start. So you go back over to the mesh, right? I'm pretty sure. Where was it? Yeah, that's all that stuff in here. It was. Okay. So you set this guy to this. Yeah. Alright. Okay, let me get back into here. Now let's see. Put him in here. Alright. There he is. Okay, he's not moving around. Alright. dun, dun, and you go over here. There it says animation, use blueprint, right? Now you go to use animation asset, okay? And then it's going to ask you which one to play. And you can scroll down through that list, and the one you want to find was that I just used. Where was it? There it is. There we go. Okay, and then you hit the little right? There you go. I'm gonna turn you around so I can see you. Hopefully that works. I'll turn around here. Okay. Save that. Let's see if that works. La 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 la. Then suddenly the Tales from the Crypt Keeper song comes into my head. Do 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 do. And I can show you guys also that how detailed some of these are, because all of these characters have audio done for them, sounds, etc. Oh geez, I hate the way this takes forever. Come on, you. What's going on here? Okay, let's try a quickie here. Let's use some memory. Come on. 16 gigs of RAM on the wall, 16 gigs of RAM. If only I had 64 gigs of RAM, I wouldn't have to wait until my brains were all over the wall. It's coming. Yeah, one day. Here we go. Now hopefully OBS picks this shit up. It's terrible at doing some of this stuff sometimes. Give it a second. It always takes time to load. Normally I load just what you see in this little square, and this is what this is another reason it's a bit laggy when I'm doing things, is because not only do I have I would have OBS on in the background there. Chrome is awful to have on. I should be turning that shit right off. The worst piece of shit browser ever frickin' made. They are making that thing worse and worse every minute. So, alright, there we go. See how he just came out of the ground there? So that was that animation. That's how it works. Okay? See? There you go. And that's part and parcel of how you can play around with some of this stuff in a little mini scene. And then you can do some video editing and other little bits and pieces and stuff like that, right? Anyway, give me a few days and I'll come up with some kind of, at least, it won't be a perfect Stargate thing, but it'll be unique and it will be free, because when I'm done, I'll find a way to package it up and let everybody use it. Now here's the kicker. It will be free for non-commercial use. Okay, so I'll have to put it into one of those CC, you know, I don't care about attribution, so it'd be like you have to be one of these licenses where, okay, you can use it for personal use kind of thing, and to you know, have fun with, right? but you can't use it in a commercial sense because, well, I mean, I made it here in the engine here, and if you suddenly made more than $3,000 at whatever you're doing with it, I'd have to come after you for, to give Epic some money because that's just part of the way it does. So be nice about it, and I'll be nice about it, right? Then I'll make sure I can put it somewhere where I can take it away if people abuse that shit, right? That's like, it's one thing to give out a free game. The game's out there, no one can, if they go and sell that game, I know exactly what happened there, and then you get in trouble yourself. Epic will probably send the lawyers at you, not me. So, just a little word of warning, I can do some stuff for free and give it out to you for free. Just don't go, you know, trying to make $1 billion off it. You know, if you're on YouTube doing stuff with it, I don't think they'd bother you though, unless you're PewDiePie, and then in which case they'd probably want a buck out of you. But anyway, okay, that's enough of this. And I'm gonna muck around some more elsewhere. Get out of there. Okay, guys. Yeah, as I said, give me, on the weekends I tend not to do as much, and I've been really social the last 4 or 5 days. I haven't been doing much of my live streaming and videos and stuff, but it's good though because you get talking to people and it helps get your brain rolling on what you want to focus on here, right? Like, hey, what about going to they've gone to another galaxy somewhere and they've met some alien races, and you've got, you know, over here, right? Okay, bring this silly thing back up. You have some stories with, all these Paragon characters down at the bottom here, right? Or over here. And let me show you this guy here, because the reason why I want to show this guy is because, okay, you got the black guy, right? There you got a monster-like guy, right? And there you got a robot, another guy who could be like a soldier of another place. You see what I mean? Not just one character. You can use these guys in different ways. You see, if you're thinking about using them, right? See? Different types of soldiers, right? Okay? There's the Skull Troopers or something, right? Some kind of pirate evil guys that maybe raid a planet while you're doing your mission or something, right? Okay? And there's like I was using that in the environment thing there. I retargeted it, and he was running around. And this is before I knew how to see the gun on the side there. It didn't socket it right. Okay, so it looked kind of funny on his arm. It was like an extension of his arm. And you see, you got one character, you got 8. Okay, now think about it. There's like 30 of these things. So you've got. I guarantee you could make a whole season's worth of TV out of this for yourself. Okay? That was what I wanted to really do with this stuff, right? And it was getting together with the right people to make it happen. And it was starting to happen, and then people just suddenly got the idea in their head, and then they had their own idea, and they went off. And whoa, guys, and without me, they all just don't do it, right? That was the kind of they're all off doing specific little things, right? So I go and get the specific little guys that are doing things, and I say, look, we make 20 episodes, and there's 20 of us. Each person gets an episode to put on their YouTube channel, right? And more than likely, by the time you get to the 10th or 11th video, if it's decent enough quality and everything's fun, people are going to go back to the first guy, and you're going to get traffic. That's how you're going to get paid. You're going to be paid with people wanting to subscribe to you. They're going to get paid to, your views, and you're probably going to end up monetized, and then you can make a buck, right? That's fine, right? And I'm free to use these guys commercially any way I want, right? Like that's, you know. So it's really kind of cool the way they do these things, and that's what I mean. You just like there's, okay, you got and the if you want to see where the retarget thing is, you look up this girl on YouTube, Phase. The guy does a retarget for Phase, and why? Because she has no weapons. All right, you see how she's got no gun in her hands or a sword or anything like that? It's easier to retarget something that doesn't have that because it then gets complicated by having the weapon there. You've got to then socket the weapon into the hand, and the animation has to have be part of this, right? Right. So you got a couple little different things there, right? Okay. Different people, different creatures, different monsters. You got different people. You got something for kids. You got little, little fuzzy wuzzies. There was one there that looked like Groot or Rocket from Marvel. There, it was kind of neat. Jumps on the back of a giant robot. Where is that thing? Where is it? Oh, over here. This one. I swear, when I was looking, I was thinking of Rocket. It was just he jumps right up on his shoulders and just like, you know. You know what I mean? How can you not have fun with this shit? You know? This is what I mean. All this is, thank you, Epic, that kind of thing, right? You've done some stupid things, but you do the good things too, right? You know? And that's the problem, eh? Sometimes people think they're saying or doing the right thing, and it turns out wrong. And you got to think that way. And apparently this Naughty Dog is saying that they didn't send the lawyers at people. Well, the problem is you could have spoke up a little sooner. Wait, right. 10 days later, yeah. And it's not like they didn't know in the comment sections and stuff. But anyway. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. What else do I want to show you? Yeah, there's the player build system that I put in the on the beach, in the beach little game, right? I'll just show you. I didn't do hardly any work to this other than taking a level, putting it in there, putting this little thing in there, right? And that's it. You know, this came out a long time ago. Not a long time ago, but a fair ways back, right? All right. And that's what I mean. Now, one of the things I didn't do in that game was actually put some instructions on how you actually bring up this wheel, right? I think it's like the E or F key or something, and whatever. Start hitting keys on the keyboard till you find the right key. That's all I gotta say. What do you expect for free, right? Instructions on how to play or what? Yeah, right, eh? Let's see here. This is a neat pack too. Some creatures, right? You ever need a dragon? This thing is crazy cool when it's in the engine. It looks a lot better than right here. That works. These centaurs do not work. They come out smaller than a pixel. They're wrecked. All of them. The centaurs don't work. Same with these dogs. They don't work either. I don't know why. Two of them don't work. Old pack. Whatever. It's like I got some use out of them, right? And here's some more animations, right? Like you got different things. I got ways to have people die up here. Where was that? Somewhere's up here. Way the hell up here. That's what I mean. Oh yeah, here's some more special effects. I'm going to bring a whole bunch of those in there just so I can play with things. Explosions, right? Dynamic grass. Yeah, there they are. Death animations right there. Right? You need to make a face. like a real human, right? Can you use this dude? Right? This just shows you how detailed it gets. I did a video and it had this guy in it, right? Wow, does it ever look realistic, you know? And that's on my potato PC. Now, when you're doing a cinematic, like a video out of the engine, it will take forever on my PC, but it comes out just as good as anybody with a great PC that doesn't take as much time. That's the thing. It would be like rendering like a small section of the frame and then just do more of that frame going and then because that's what it does. It goes frame by frame by frame and you just go back to bed and wake up in the morning and it's done, right? And hope your PC didn't catch fire, you know. It's like, we got vehicle plugins, more cars and stuff down, and there's another one there. Footsteps, that'll be another one that I might bring into this one because of that desert. It might be a kind of neat thing to do. All kinds of different weapons, of course, right? I haven't got much into the weaponry and stuff like that. Here's an engine for making an actual, like a horror game out of there. More sceneries. Like there's tons of these little scenes, right? Like when people talk about levels and designs and different things like that, you could take all of these and take the pieces of them and what you got to do with a lot of these is that little way I showed to fix the collision in on the Stargate is how you have to go back in and mess with these assets because these things are made for mobile and they're also made for like say cinematics where you just have scenes, right? Because that castle isn't necessarily all there on the other side or pieces of it may be missing here or there that are not needed, right? You would need to build that stuff, right? But you can do it because you got the parts here. You can see it from the front, you could do it on the back, and you could build that up. The other thing is doors and gates aren't movable. You'd need to make things. What you do is you go down to where is that pack? God, this is why this is insane to do all this shit. Because look at this. Look at how unorganized this is. I mean, I can't ask for it to be any more unorganized. Because I can't find the pack I want. It was a first-person story not shooter, but a thing that a guy came out where he had tons of different ways to open doors. So you could bring that in, the blueprint, and just attach it to that asset and have it work that way. Now, you could do a sliding door instead of it going to the left or right, have it go up, right? And that would be for a gate, like a portcullis kind of thing where they have the metal bars, you know, going up or down, right? And if you really wanted to get into something like that, you would do an event trigger that when it does go up, you would have two chains, right, pulling on it or something like that. And then you got something looking funky for that, right? All kinds of shit in here that's really fun to play with. Like this is, you know, this is more entertaining than television today, in a lot of ways, because when you're done with it, you go, hey, I made this, right? Number one, and isn't that cool and fun to play with? And this was something that was given out too as well. A bunch of different things. Because I was always complaining, right? They had no trees, right? So then they come out and they give a whole bunch of foliage of different trees and stuff like that. That's what I mean. It's like they listen to you, right? It is. It's kind of fun that, you know. I can't use this because you need Windows 10. If I could do that, I could set up television screens in front of me and have either actual websites in them as an app or whatever, or you know, I could even set it up. I could be in 3 different live streams, right, and be seeing what's going on there, right? You know, stuff like that. Blah, blah, blah. Virtual reality stuff is in here, and yet I don't even have it. I don't have any of that. There's sci-fi stuff in here. These bits and pieces, different things. The shooter games in there, and in order to add actual levels, see the way I was doing things before, I create the project and then I create a new level and I import all that stuff and did all that work. Um, in order to have that level actually in that game, you would have to go into the C++ code, modify the code to add that level, okay, which is a bit involved. Um, but I can run it and show you what a level would look like by adding it, right? Here's the new robot that they came out with. This is the one when Joseph Malazzi gave me he gave me 4 pages of from season 6 in Stargate Atlantis that never happened. And Elizabeth Weir comes back, right? So I kind of thought about this robot, right? And it's already been used in a virtual reality game, by the way. But this is given to us to be able to use. And isn't that a cool looking thing? Hey, look at that. And this light will glow. I put it into a scene the other day and it looks kind of funky, right? And it has animations, right? You can use different, like, you know how I attached that animation for to the one guy there. All you got to do is drag those animations into, right, things, and you can retarget any of these things, right? So yeah, it's when where it says that it's scaled to the epic skeleton, it's when you can use these generic animations that people do. Let's see here. Supported development platforms: PC, Xbox, PS4, Oculus Rift, Vive, and mobile. And with the next version at 4.25, this changes to the Xbox X, PS5, etc. Okay, guys, I'm going to let you go. Take